One of the minhagei avilut that Bnei Yisrael keeps during these 34 days is not listening to music. Right, the one that concerns everyone the most. In general, there's a discussion by the poskim if a person can listen to music throughout the year. A lot of poskim say that they bring sources that from when the Beit Mikdash was destroyed, you can't have, so to speak, that kind of simcha with music. Most of us today are lenient, but even the people that are lenient during the Sefirat HaOmer, the 34 days, we're very strict. Even though the Kudus says that the Nosei Kirim, the commentaries on the Shulchan Aruch, never spoke about music. They spoke about dancing and machalot, clapping like that. That's what the poskim say are asul. Nevertheless, we learn out from dancing brings simcha. Music that brings simcha is asur as well. There are cases where if music doesn't bring simcha, it would be mutar. For example, he says a sick person. Person was sick. Like I remember last year, Rav Yitzchak Yosef had a famous psak by the COVID. A person who's sick, and the music that he's listening to is not for enjoyment. It's actually therapeutic. It's supposed to help him heal quicker. That case, it would be mutar during Sefirat HaOmer. Because he says, I think this is Rav Nissim Karlitz, he says that this purpose of listening to this music is not for enjoyment, it's actually for refuah, for health. Another example, he says, Rav Moshe Feinstein brings down, is a teacher. Let's say a teacher gives music classes. Now if he's going to either get paid in advance, or now he's going to have to, not give his classes, he says in that case it's mutar also to continue giving classes. Why? Because that you're not doing for enjoyment again, you're doing it for parnasah, you're doing it because that's your work. Same thing he says by a daycare, right? A lot of times you have daycares where they play music for the kids throughout the day. That's just part of their setup. That also, he says, since it's for little children and, sometimes it's like stories and has music in it, that could also be allowed. They will also leave that book. Okay. He says, some people, what they do is they say that after Friday in the afternoon and Motzei Shabbat and Rosh Chodesh, when in general you should be a little happier, you can listen to music. But again, he says we don't do any of these things. Unless it's a bar mitzvah on its day, or a brit milah, even not in its time, pidyon ben, siu mesechet, when these things are seudot mitzvah, simchat mitzvah, you should not listen to music in general. There would be no other hetel. Once the 33rd day comes, even though we said by haircuts you have to wait till 34 in the morning, once the Lag BaOmer comes, you can listen to music, because once it becomes mutar, since we celebrate the Hilulah of the Rashbi, it becomes mutar for everything. So even if you're at home, you could already start listening to music from the 33rd day. Now, he says here that a lot of people today, they take it upon themselves to say that this is not a halacha, it's a minhag, nothing's going to happen. He brings down all the poskei dorenu, Ashkenazim, Sfaradim, Hasidim. Everyone say today that a person should not be lenient. It's the minhag Yisrael to not listen to music. We're not supposed to have simcha during this time. It's supposed to be, like we said yesterday, a time to reflect on the tragedy that we lost 24,000, not only people, but 24,000 chalakim of Torah. So, B'ezrat Hashem, like we said, a person should not say it's a burden not to listen to music. The fact that you're listening to music is used to your advantage. Now you have more time to learn Torah. Yeah.
Person had a baby premature. After a couple of weeks or months, the rabbi says the baby's clear to have a brit. It happens to be during the Omer time.
You can have music. Yeah, you can have, because he says brit milah filu shelo bizmana. Even if it's not in his time, you can make it. The only thing he says you can't have music is a bar mitzvah that's not in his time. If the bar mitzvah is not on that day, then unless the boy gives divrei Torah, they have a siu mesechet, you can't have music. But pidyon ben or brit milah, even shelo bizmana, even if it's later on, in that case you'd be allowed to have music in the seudah. Baruch Adonai le'olam. Amen.